Okay, guys, hi. And today we have an interview with awesome Christina Gianelloni, the CEO of the Blink Labs and the head of the board of Pragma. That will be the great interview after the long pause for me as well. I hope you like it. Hi, Christina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, and what about you?
I am well. I am well. It is a holiday here in the United States, so everybody's at home with their kids. It's like a long weekend for us, so good days.
That's cool. So congratulations with your celebration. Huge celebration. Are your kids also at home?
They are. They are. I have an 11-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
But they are like, I think right now they are troublemaker. Mostly at home.
Um, no, yeah, a little like my son he had a great run of not doing homework at school. School started up and they don't do homework for the first few weeks. And I would ask afterwards, hey, did you get homework this week? And he's like, no, they haven't started yet. And he pulled that for a good 6 months before his teachers finally said, so do you know what's happening with his homework? No. So age appropriate mischief, you know?
I know he is very talented.
Yes, 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 he is.
Good job, really good job. But I can't imagine how it happens for us. I mean, for me and for you, I think we were like good girls to do
I
all the things.
I worked hard, I studied hard. I actually graduated high school at 16, which is early here. And I did really well. There's this test that you take when you graduate that's for college placement, and I only missed like 4 questions on it. And I had a full academic scholarship offered to me for a very nice university in this country called Duke. And I did not go.
Whoa, why?
um, I wanted to take a break. I
Oh,
had talked to a number of people that told me what college classes were like, and that courses could take like 3 hours of being lectured, and I was not sure how I could possibly do that. um, I just had a lot of trouble paying attention for such long periods of time. And come to find out, I do have that attention and deficit disorder. So I guess that explained that. But it was very difficult for me to sit there and think I'd have to sit in a classroom for 3 hours and listen to somebody and take notes. So I actually ended up learning how to build a computer. And I just kind of fell into computers and then into technology. So I was actually a general manager of a local computer store by the time I was 20. So it was pretty cool. And then I just continued to grow from there. I worked with telecommunications and internet service providers. And then I went to advertising and life science. And I always just did like covered infrastructure and IT services and help desk. So I was an IT manager. And my last job before I retired, I was an IT manager at a life science company. And that was pretty cool because it was manufacturing and life science. So it was such an interesting blend of everything. We had so many brilliant scientists on campus, and just to talk to them and hang out with them and get their experiences was fabulous. And then we have this manufacturing plant and all the standards and stuff that we had to learn and adhere to. It just gave you so much to do. It was very fascinating. And being a global company, it was a Fortune 100. I actually had the advantage to travel around the world and work on mergers and acquisitions. And I loved that because you go to a new site. In my case, I would be sent to a new country, and I would start traveling the different offices and meet with the people, find out about their technology, and find the best way to blend what they have with what we have so everything could work together. It was fabulous. It was very cool.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Like to travel and work, and you really like it. That's awesome, really.
It was. But then I had a child, and
Oh,
then enough was enough. So I actually retired. I was done with work. I had retired. I wasn't going to work anymore. And then lo and behold, here I am.
I'm not sure that you totally stop with work, because being in
Nope.
Cardano and to be head of two companies, and as I know, you are a very active person inside the Catalyst and different spaces. So that's also work, in my opinion.
Well, I did take a few years off, and I really enjoyed it. And I just spent time with my babies. I learned to garden, and I just enjoyed it. But I am the type of person, I like to stay busy. I like to stay productive. I never truly left, and instead I participated with my husband with his contract work. And then when Blink Labs, the year we started Blink Labs, I started working again because I really wanted to participate. I had just jumped into the Cardano community and met some people that introduced me to other people, and I started finding things that were interesting to me, and I thought I can actually do this. Like, I'm gonna do this. This is like, it's kind of like IT, but it's different. And I was like, I can actually transition to this pretty well. So I like it here. It's fun.
Oh, so it means that your husband brought you to Cardano, to crypto.
Yes. Yes. Well, him and some of his business partners, they had actually been working, they had an SPO for a while, and that was what brought them to Cardano. And then they started working within the technology because Cardano really does have a low barrier of entry. But you also know that what we did is we started bringing the Go language to Cardano, and that's been something we've been pretty passionate about.
That's cool. But we have lots of blockchains right now.
Mhm.
What did attract you to Cardano? Why you stay in Cardano? I mean, you can go to Polkadot, or it's just no way because of your husband.
Building on Cardano. That's really what it is. Building on Cardano is what kept me here. Um, when I joined Cardano, one of the first people I met is this infamous man named Quasar. Quasar's fabulous. He's fun, and he's in a lot of spaces. And he introduced me to a few people in a few places, and he told me about Catalyst. And I thought Catalyst is great. I had learned a little bit going through Fund 9 with some previous people. And, I was definitely very interested in it and started paying attention. And Blink Labs was funded in, maybe it was 9 or 10, I don't remember. I think it was 10. So I was looking at what we were doing there and doing the project management aspect of it. And I liked Catalyst a lot. I like how they let you be involved. They're very inclusive. I found them to be very accepting. I came in and I started participating in these town halls and in the Discord server, and I found that they were very receptive to my ideas. So the Discord server, they actually let me work on reshaping how the Project Catalyst Discord server looks. I wanted to make it a lot more streamlined and just, the basic channels that we needed for each of our funding rounds, and to still, network with each other. And then if we need to build it out from there, we can. But I enjoy doing that because I really like helping people. So one of the things I did was make like an FAQ section where I could start putting information in there, because I'd learned something cool and I'd be like, well, I think this is cool. Somebody else might think this is cool. So like there's one in there where you can look at, how to add a wallet. And then there's one where you can look at, well, how you can register multiple wallets at once. And I thought that was really cool because it's not something that's super easy to do. So finding somebody that's done it successfully and give you those instructions, I was like, yes, this is good intel to have. And And then the after town hall is something that we just kind of picked up on because the previous folks that were doing the after town hall swarm had decided that they weren't going to do it anymore. And I thought there was so much value to the after town halls where people have the opportunity to have these breakout rooms and discuss their ideas or discuss their progress on something, on their proposals. I hated the idea that it might go away. So I said, you know what? I'll help out. Absolutely. And when I said I was looking to help out and I wanted to know if there'd be a team of people that would want to work with me, I didn't have any trouble finding people. So Darlington stepped up to help, and Simon Register helps. And actually Peter, who used to do the town halls, who was just kind of hanging out to help us transition, said, you know what, I think I'll stick around after all. And so we all do it together. We take turns and we rotate. And I think that's kind of an important part so you don't get burned out on it. Because if you have to do it every single week without break, it can be easy to get burned out. And you're not getting paid for it.
Yeah, but okay. Okay, let's jump to Blink Clubs and then return to Catalyst, because Catalyst is, a very controversial, very arguable theme, and people like, we like Catalyst. Oh, we don't like Catalyst. Lots of fights.
It's passionate. Definitely a passionate place.
Yes, very passionate. Just a sec. Okay, I have a very strong cough right now.
I hope you're getting better. I know you were sick last week, so.
Yeah. What does the Blink Clubs do? What the idea? What the main product, and how it can improve the ecosystem?
I mean, if you look at Blink Labs, we have a few different products available, but really what you can tell if you watch us is what we're building, not what we built, because we're not done by a long shot. And you can even see that with the new proposals. So in Fund 12, we were funded to build a Cardano node in Go. So we're actually building a node in the Go language. And we're super excited about this and the opportunity it's going to bring. Now, this is not a block producing node, so it's a data node. And the ability to bring more developers with an extremely popular language, because Go is exceedingly popular. And if you look at the other blockchains, it's what most of them are using. So, I mean, you've got these other developers with blockchain experience. I would love to open the door and be like, hey, why don't you come check out what we're doing in Cardano? We've got a Go platform you can start working in right away. So, I mean, we're building for something bigger. In a lot of cases, we are trying to build for needs that aren't quite there yet because we're anticipating the needs. It's almost like, when there was the great gold rush in America and everybody was trying to pan for gold and make money. The big joke is the people who made the most money were the people who were selling shovels. That's what we want to do. We want to build the infrastructure and make it so that we can do so much more than we're doing now. I'm talking, we want to be prepared for when Visa wants to come to Cardano and the type of infrastructure they're going to need. We're going to be the ones that are like, yep, we've already got this set up. So, I mean, that's kind of the long-term goal of what we're doing. We've got a variety of products that build upon all of that. And some of it just for things that we found we needed. Like, one of my favorite products is such a super basic, simple thing, but it's so valuable to me. I have a product that will monitor my wallet and send me a notification on my desktop every time I have a transaction, so that I don't have to look to see when did Catalyst pay me. I'll know right away. I get a notification on my desktop. So isn't that cool?
I need it right now.
Yeah.
Just extra notification about payment.
It's super helpful. It's right now, it's very command line right now. And so we're talking with our new front end guy on how we can make it a little bit easier. And we're looking at mobile integration where you'd be able to get it on your phone. So I think it's something that, as basic as it is, and really to meet a need we had, it could be something that everybody would want to use.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds perspective. So, the question.
Sure.
Do you usually help to startups like if, for example, someone has a good idea or just an idea, not good, but they stuck with something? Do you usually help or not?
I don't know. It's kind of a loaded question. I've definitely helped a number of people in the community.
Yeah.
Just because I build a rapport with somebody. I have a few, I mean, they reach out, they have questions. I try and help people. And then if they need more help, I'm still there to help them. The last funding round, I helped a number of people with their proposals to fine tune it and make sure that they really understood how to write it for the needs. What I found a lot of people don't realize is the milestones that we're writing in these proposals is actually how we get paid. So we've got to do our milestones based by time, so little stuff like that to help people. And then like as far as pragma, that's a totally different beast. I would just kind of summarize it and say we're not actually accepting projects yet, because we have the 2 projects right now, and we're building our processes and policies so that when we are ready to accept new projects, we've kind of got it already ironed out, which means a lot to me because I want people, when they come to join, this member-based organization, to feel like they're actually getting something out of it, that they don't have to build it up, that they're joining a team that's ready to help them.
I see. Oh, that's just an idea because I always think about Catalyst and try to find more ways to improve the experience, mostly because what I saw and what my experience right now, not just mine. Some people really have the problem with proof of achievements, and they stuck with that. But from time to time, people are stuck with technology, so they try to find someone inside the community, and they can't find, or if they found, the price is too high, just for help. So I just asked everyone, so can you help or not help? So that's like a business accelerator.
So it won't be a thing that Blink Labs does, but like I said, I've definitely helped businesses in the right situation where they reach out. And then there's other things where, when we talk about these needs, one of my fortes is people. I love people. I love interacting with people, but I also love connecting people. So I meet people and I'm not going to forget you. And then if I meet somebody else that I think, gosh, they'd really benefit from having a conversation with Anastasia, then I'm going to introduce you guys. And if you needed something, I'm sure you would reach out and be like, hey, do you know anybody that knows this? And I'd be like, yeah, let me see what I've got. So I do a lot of that as well. And it kind of makes me happy, and just connecting the technology too. You'll hear something I talk a lot about on Cardano over coffee is I consistently plug Cardano Calendar. It's cardanocalendar.io, because I always thought, gosh, it'd be great if we had a community calendar. And then one day I literally looked at all the funded proposals, hit next on every page, reading every title all down that list to see if anything would fit the bill. And I found we already funded something, and we funded them more than once. And when I went to go use the product, it was a very usable product. So that's why I recommend it to everybody. I'm like, wouldn't it be great if we had a community calendar? Well, we do have one. So I just try and get everybody to it, because the more people that use it, the more valuable it comes to us. So a lot of connections. That's what I do.
That's cool.
Thanks.
People with lots of connections are very valuable, Well, maybe it's a little bit pragmatic, but that's cool. So
Why can't it be both?
Yeah, but people from time to time asked me about the devs, like, do you have front-end devs? And I just think, and then ask guys, and then made some connections for people.
Mhm.
if I personally can't do something.
Yeah.
Because I'm a one person, not like octopus. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
You don't have to
two
be
hands.
Superwoman all the time, you know.
Yeah. We can't work everywhere.
True.
So, return to Catalyst. The patient. That's so funny. I remember that we met each other in Cardano Girls. That's like girls about Cardano. That's so funny. But right now, that's like a political party.
Is it? I
Cardano.
haven't noticed that. Like, I stay in the chat and I do try to engage with people. And you saw where I was asking, like, does anybody
Yeah.
have proposals? Because I'd really like to see it. So within the chat, I still feel that there's still a bit of a movement where all the women reach out and ask, you know, hey, could you support me in this? Could you just share this? And I love being able to do that. When it comes to like the hashtag within Twitter and how it's being used, I'm pretty much oblivious because I only have so much time. But I've met a few people from there that I've really enjoyed the connections, and you're definitely one of them. And then I remember I was actually able to work with you on some catalyst troubles you were having, and I was happy to try and lend a hand.
I still have this lots of emotion about
a
this trouble.
little trauma.
Yeah, not trauma, but after that, I had a talk with Danny, and I hope that some changes came.
Well, I know they are making it more, the process is more stringent for bringing on reviewers. And they've introduced what I'll just call like a KYC process. So you actually have to verify you're a real person. So I know they are trying to make some improvements along those lines with all the people that we're working with, because these people are being paid, but not very much, and they tend to be spread pretty thin. So whatever we can do to make sure we've got the right people doing it is best, because it is a limited like slot position. It's not like they have 300 volunteers. I want to say it was like they had 80 people doing it. Well, I was just saying that I think with the changes that they've been making, they're trying to make it a more stringent process so that the milestone reviewers, they're verified everybody's a real person. They're going to start like being able to track a little better, like who's doing these, who's doing different ones. And just also a big training program they're doing for them now, where they kind of have to
That's
go through some stuff. Yeah, there's more stuff they've got to go through before they can start.
That what I recommended to Danny, to have some workshop training, something, because they're a little bit unqualified.
Well, and I also think like some checks and balances would be good too, to make sure that people are looking over it. And, one of the recommendations I made was that through the system, we should be able to automate this to where the system can pick up on proposals where there's been lots of back and forth instead of progress. And if there's lots of back and forth, then maybe somebody should step in and see if they could lend a hand, because obviously you're not getting to where you need to be for whatever the reason may be, but assistance could be really helpful.
Yeah, that's true. And do you have any proposals on the current catalyst?
Oh my God, do we have proposals? So we have three proposals from Blink Labs, and then we have one proposal where we're partnering with Gimbal Labs, and then we have another proposal where we're going to be assisting with the tech work, and that's for Apollo. So we're submitting ourselves on 5 different proposals. The Blink Labs ones, the first one is VPN as a service, which I like that idea. You're going to be able to pay with your ADA for your specific VPN server. There's going to be it's going to be with privacy in mind. We don't need to know who you are, kind of thing, and that's fine. But if you do something wrong, the way I have envisioned it thus far, if you were actually tagged as some type of offender without ever identifying who you are, we could just cut you off. because you've got your own VPN server. So we're not interrupting our other VPN customers. So just trying to provide something that gives people private, decentralized VPN. And another thing that's kind of cool is we have experience with this. 3 members of my team have been running this for 7 years now, VPN as a service, with their fiat job. So
I really like the VPN idea because, for example, Instagram, YouTube, and I think Facebook already were already banned in Russia for 3 years.
Mhm.
And people use VPN all the time if they want to connect to the service. And for example, in Brazil, the Twitter was blocked, I think, for 2 months. And
yeah,
we also need to use VPN. And these blocking systems, like, okay, we just want to block somewhere like Iraq, Iran,
mhm.
Serbia, Montenegro, whatever, Mexico. And people like, okay, what should we do? You
Well,
need
I
to
do.
use public VPN or to
Right.
pay. But to pay, you need to have a special bank card or to be not citizen of
And do
some.
you have to do a subscription too, right?
Yes, of course. Yes, or you need to.
You shouldn't
And
have to do a subscription for these needs.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
What the reason? Just to use decentralized VPN. That's it.
Yep.
I like this idea. Really?
Yeah. I like it. This was one of those things that when we thought of it, we're like, wow, this is kind of a no-brainer. This is something that could add value, and it's something that a lot of people can see the value in it, because so many of our stuff, our proposals are very technical and
Yeah.
not everybody understands.
Yeah.
So this is one where I'm like, oh, people actually appreciate this. I don't have to explain why they'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
Another one of our proposals is, let's see, he retitled it. It is Cloud Native Blockchain Archive Node. So there's not a good way right now for individuals or organizations to store our archives of blockchain data using cheap cloud object storage. So we want to work on an archive node. Again, that's the technical stuff. I got to work on how best to explain it so people get excited about it. And then I've got one more. Let's see. Yeah. All right. This one is the handshake decentralized DNS blockchain integration. I don't know if anybody's paid attention, but some of us have been really hot and heavy talking about decentralized DNS and what that could mean. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No.
It's okay to say no. Okay, so let me give you a great example. ICANN is this splendid example. ICANN is the top rung in charge of all the domains that we're getting, the top level domains. So your .coms, the .io, things like that. All of that stuff is approved by ICANN. If you want to add a new one, you have to write a nice proposal and send it to them with a good chunk of money. I want to say it's like $150,000 US. And they only meet once every 5 years. Now, there's no guarantee they're even going to talk about your proposal, but they're going to take your money. Don't worry about that. They'll take your money. Maybe they'll talk about your proposal. Maybe they'll even say, all right, that's a good idea. We approve. But when you go through this process, what we've found is it tends to take 5 to 10 years to actually complete it, and millions of dollars. And that seems ridiculous because it's just bureaucracy. So what we want to create is, or what we're working towards, is this decentralized DNS. And with that, we can help people sell different domains. So with the decentralized DNS, you could have something like a .blink labs or a .anastasia and not have to go through that ridiculous process. So Handshake is another blockchain that's been working towards this. And what we want to do is, do an integration with them so that we can start bringing this to Cardano and have it hosted here too. So, and there's like big, grand, wonderful ideas of what we could do with this. it's just all future stuff down the line. It could be really cool.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit futuristic right now. Futuristic.
Well, people buy those domains and they
Yes.
spend a lot of money on them. I
Yeah.
mean, $50,000 for this domain that isn't supported by ICANN kind of sounds a little crazy, but if you can get
Yeah.
people out there access to it through something decentralized, it could be fabulous. And that's a good segue to the one we're going to do, or the one we're proposing with Gimbal Labs. We want to offer a marketplace for people to be able to sell these domains to facilitate the process, make it a little easier. So yeah, we got some cool stuff coming up.
I'm impressed, really.
Thanks.
And right now I'm thinking how I will make the subtitles in Russian and then try. Okay, I will have to make a very, very careful explanation. Not lots of people are have the technical education, so that's tough.
I found with Spanish, when I was learning Spanish, it often surprised me how many words where I'm like, that's just the English word. And they're like, yeah, there's no Spanish word. We just say the English word instead. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that's true. So I like your ideas, really.
So and I will say that this is actually something that I think about and take into account with Pragma, because we're writing policies and procedures. And I put a heavy emphasis on simplification because so many people speak different languages and all these documents are in English. And there's such a tendency to make it over bureaucratic and all these like very complex terms that could have been broken down a lot simpler, make it easier for everybody to understand. So yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I can't imagine the difficulty of trying to translate something to Russian. I've always been told it's pretty much one of the hardest languages from English to go to.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but you know, when you're from this culture, it's easier. Yeah. But when you try to learn it, it's like, okay, guys, good try, good try. So in this case, I'm usually very, very angry when someone try to push, you know, the proposals in Catalyst and in Russian, and I saw that these guys are not Russians at all. What the reason are you doing, guys? How do you understand that everything is correct? How do you do that? For example, we want Russian YouTube channels. Guys, are you Russians? No, we are Americans. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that?
Right.
And something like to translate books.
Oh, yeah.
Last Catalyst for 2 proposals to translate Cardano for the masses. And one of them was from the guy from Netherlands. And that's like, okay, but how do you understand that? That's like, don't do what you can't check yourself, just to go and check. Yeah. And how do you think Catalyst system is fair or no?
I mean, it's not a perfect system, but it's not stacked to be biased. Any bias that I feel people find is more in the voting. And that's because if we're just being realistic, a lot of times popular things get voted for, right?
Yes.
And it's really hard to become popular.
Yes.
You know, depending on what you're doing, maybe it's not cool. It's not easy to really talk about. I can remember last funding round, I wanted to make the pitch videos because I noticed not a lot of projects make pitch videos. And I thought, well, if Lido Nation makes it so easy to click a button to limit so that you only see proposals with pitch videos, gosh darn it, I want my proposals there because there's like only 36, you know, I'm like, I want to be in that list. I start looking at these proposals and the pitch videos for these proposals, and most of them are something that's easy to like explain to somebody why they might like it, or, you know, it has some type of social benefit. it was really hard to find technical videos that were cool. Most of the time the technical video just looks dry and boring.
I know, because it's very difficult to explain technical things in easy language, and people understand you correct without any extra, oh, I am far from the technical sphere, I can just push some buttons on my laptop and you are too clever.
Yeah.
We're like, guys, we're not too clever. We know guys who are more clever than we, but come on. I really not sure what should do people with technical proposals like to dance.
Right.
That's not boring at the one.
So here's what I found with the technical proposals is I found it helps to engage within the technical community. And when Blink Labs started working more with different projects and stuff, I feel that really helped us get noticed because we started just helping out with different things. And next thing you know, we're like getting invited to these different meetings, we're meeting different people. It's all fabulous. But for me, I really think it stemmed from just starting to really build connections within the developer community, because it's really hard to be, hanging out with all the cool kids while you're talking about development. Well, I should say that unless you're that one person. There's Lucas, our Vikas. For some reason, he's just funny and everybody likes what he says. So he's the unicorn of the developers, in my opinion.
That's very rare, to be funny.
He's really good with memes and he's very sarcastic on Twitter. And I think those things help him.
Yeah. Sarcasm is helpful.
It is.
To live just easier. Okay. I saw that this year you are a speaker at the Cardano Summit. Are you excited about that?
Yes, I am. I was a little surprised. And then I started looking at the different topics, the different panel discussions and stuff. And I was like, okay, now I have a better idea what this is about. So I will be speaking on enhancing operations in blockchain through open source innovations. And basically what that means to me is I'm going to talk about how open source can help further innovation.
Okay. Sounds easy.
I mean, it is. I think so.
Yeah.
So I have the benefit of I was an open source developer, a Linux developer a while back. I think maybe it started like 2005. So a little bit ago, I was able to join a Linux distro called Gentoo, and I got to work with them. And I worked in public relations. I did the newsletter stuff. And one of the things I enjoyed was actually interviewing developers about non-technical stuff, because all these developers knew each other technically, but they didn't know each other personally. And when I would talk to people, I would have way more entertaining stories. I'd be like, oh, that guy from such and such. And they're like, we have no idea what you're talking about. So I would interview the developers and then ask them more about themselves. Tell me about your hobbies and interests that aren't just this. Tell me about, your favorite, whatever. We could make it technical and talk about like your favorite package or things like that. But it was just a really cool way to join and start to get to know these guys. And then I ended up being elected for developer relations. And for that, it was a lot of helping developers whenever they ran into problems. I did mediation when developers ran into problems with each other. But we also did like the onboarding and offboarding and stuff like that. So I do have a lot of open source experience from a good ways back. And from there, I can also apply like how I used it in corporate, because a lot of people in corporate, at least when I started, I found a lot of opposition. I found people say, oh, if it's free, you get what you pay for, and things like that. And it took me a good bit to get the open source stuff used in production environments, but we had such cost savings over it. And then you can also look at how the innovation The competitiveness furthers innovation, because when it's open source, you've got a good idea how they're running things, right? And your product might be similar. You might get a few good ideas from them and go ahead and put it in your product. Well, then they're going to have to, look at something and make a few good ideas to, one up their next product. And it just goes back and forth. So for the consumer, it becomes even better. You have a better product. And for the business, I'd argue would be better too, because you further your development. With open source, you also get a lot of adoption. You get a lot of people testing, which definitely helps with QA and things like that. So yeah, I'm super pumped about open source.
Yeah, I like the whole speech, The first of all, right now, I understand why you can help lots of people in Cardano, because you've already been the intermediator between developers. That's tough. I know, because I am developer, and I know that person between two developers, that's like very crazy person. That's like two army.
Yeah.
And even worse if you don't understand what's happened in the both side, because they are too clever, too smart, and you're like, okay, I don't understand what's happened between you guys, but I should to solve it somehow.
Yeah.
And I was excited about your experience in Linux. And it was 20 years ago, I think.
It was a while ago, yeah.
At that moment, I didn't think about even computer. I was too small for that. I think I was 10.
Yeah. When I graduated high school, computers, we had computers in school, and it was still a lot of like Lotus 1, 2, 3, not even Excel. It was Lotus. And AOL had just started being a little more common. Like, you knew more people who had AOL for their dial-up, and you knew what dial-up was at that point. But I mean, we're talking the late 90s. So I got to see it all start. I think, but that's one thing I cherish about my age group, is because we didn't have all of it. So we still grew up doing the crazy stuff outside, building forts while parents were at work, grab dad's new hammer. Let's go use that outside. That'll be great.
Of course.
Yeah, because nobody was going to stop us. And then to like start when the technology just started. So
that's cool. That's interesting, because you can just follow this history. Like, okay, the computer, laptop, tin, high end, right now, blockchain. And in my opinion, it's more impressive that you are already in IT. I mean, some people just they got the computer and that's it. But you are already in blockchain, and then the top technology, and you understand it, and that's so cool, in my opinion.
Thank you. I like that we're able to bring a lot of like what we've done with us from the past, and that's just like the whole Blink Labs team, because we have such a strong and somewhat varied background. We've got people that came from Box and Yahoo, Microsoft, Apple, that did work for places that Google bought out later. It's kind of neat where we all came from and the global scale that we had to work on. So a lot of what we do at Blink Labs might look a little overkill, but we're using the technologies that we know we can scale and the stuff that we've got experience doing.
That's cool.
Fun.
Yeah, and that's fun. And what the average, maybe average is not correct word, but the age, I mean the average age, because right now I see that everyone likes someone young and someone brave and someone with no family and like young and smooth and happy, something like that. But do you prefer people more intelligent? Not intelligent, I mean,
so
calm.
It's definitely not like an age thing, because even when we're hiring people, I will look at somebody who may not look qualified, but I might see something. I might see where this person learns things quickly, has the right foundation. I can build off of that. Maybe you don't have experience in any of the apps I was asking for. So, I mean, I'm really looking at how they work, and that means a whole lot more to me. And like the team aspect, because you've been in Cardano long enough. We need to get along. You know, how do you work in a team? How do you work with difficult deadlines, you know, things like that. All that really matters.
Yeah, deadlines is crucial.
Yeah.
I think so.
But you might be surprised to know that when we've hired recently for Blink Labs, we have hired outside of the community. We did not hire people specifically from the Cardano community. It just wasn't as relevant as much as, do you understand certain technologies and do you have this right methodology that matches with us, how we work, our flow and everything.
That's interesting. Because I saw that lots of people try to hire someone just inside the Cardano.
It's
Even
hard.
even if person not qualified enough, or for example, you need to make something specific, for example, just front end, but you try to find someone inside the Cardano, and it's a little bit difficult, mostly because of reputation, and I'm not sure why.
So I found it difficult to find people, like, where do you even go, right? What do? I post on Twitter, I post on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm looking for people with blockchain experience, web-free, come talk to us. You know, I don't even know where you go to ask to look for people. And I've found a few projects that were trying to work on it, but when I talked to them further, they didn't really seem to understand how they were going to get people to them. You know, so either you're going to have the employers or you're going to have the employees, but how do you drive the traffic to you to start with? So that me as a prospective customer would be like, oh, you've got a ton of employees to look from. You know, where do you get that from? And a lot of them haven't thought that part through yet. So I don't feel like within Cardano, we really have a good solution to allowing people to show their skills and allowing prospective employers to, find them. It's all in who you know, I think.
I see. So the problem is that the specialist can't present themselves first, and the second, some project they don't have traffic, and so that I think that's mostly connected with marketing.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
we have two problems: traffic and bad presentation of the specialist.
Mm-hmm. But so like what I see is in the Catalyst Discord server, people will drop in the different channels and it always comes across super spammy to drop in and be like, hey, I'm a developer. I've got these skills. Come check out my link. And we analyze, we're like, oh, that link sounds sus. You know, I don't think we should have people clicking your link. We don't even know who you are, kind of thing. Because it's never a link to like GitHub or anything. It's a link to their site. And you never know, what you're going to land on with some of the different sites that they're sending. Then you've got the businesses that come in and just post periodically, and they'll just be, boom, web developer, this amount. Boom, Haskell developer, this amount. And it's just so spammy. I don't know them. I don't know why I would want to talk with them, So there's not a good presentation. There's not a good place for people to present themselves. And the places people are using don't seem to be helping very much.
And how do you think should this presentation look like?
Well, I mean, there's, like I said, there's been a number of projects where people have wanted to address the staffing issue. And there's one right now, I think, called Cardano Talent. But I don't see the marketing aspect yet of getting people to them. So like I've dropped in their Discord server a couple times and I looked and it's not active. There's not people posting. So yeah, I don't know that there's a good solution right now other than some current projects need more marketing or somebody needs to come up with a good solution that includes a fully vetted marketing plan.
But okay, could you tell me some projects with a good marketing?
I don't know. Projects with good marketing. Well, I think Gimbal Labs does a good job of marketing themselves. I see them post regularly on multiple platforms. I see them engage with the community, but it's what they do is the community aspect. So it's kind of, I'm sure it's a natural thing for them. We love our partners, TX Pipe. They post very regularly, lots of content, and I enjoy that Santiago will even post some pretty funny videos now and then. So I think some of our partners are doing a good job marketing, but it's not with attracting talent in mind.
Yes.
I don't know anybody that does.
Yeah, and I understand that attract new developers and this reputation question is very
So
very
what
thin.
we did is we actually hired on LinkedIn. We posted our jobs on LinkedIn and we got a ton of applicants right off the bat. And one of the things for us, because we're looking for developers, is we required everybody to show a GitHub link. Give us a GitHub link.
Yeah.
Talk about your open source contributions. You know, we want people that have open source experience in some regard. And so we're able to put those questions in and kind of get a more filtered applicant list that address specific things that we found important. So
That's very serious topic, you know. We just start to talk about marketing and what we should to improve. I really hope that this interview can see lots of people around our community, and just to think about that. Because
I find it to be a common thing in catalyst proposals in general. Not everybody thinks about, okay, so once they've got their product, how are they going to get people to start using it?
Yeah.
And you need to allocate funds for it because whatever you choose is going to cost money.
This time I resent my proposal about this work for coins, you know, this freelancer website application to connect employee and employees. But right now I'm really thinking about that I should extend the marketing section and really think about that. Because if I want to be successful, I need to think about that somehow. So we have really interesting topic.
Something to think about. Awesome.
Yes, of course. And I hope that more people think about that.
Yeah.
Because in Cardano, we have tons of good applications. For example, I was in Blockchain Rio, and I was talking with some guys from another ecosystems, from Near, from the Stellar, and told them about Ayagon, about fluid tokens, about that we have lending and borrowing protocols, and they looked at me like, whoa, really? You've already had that? Yes, guys, you can lend, borrow. We have this storage, decentralized storage, and they were really surprised because in some ecosystems they don't have something like that right now. But no marketing and no one knows about that. Something like that. Why? Because
they don't understand a utility.
They don't understand. No enough marketing, no enough money, not enough people. And of course we can speak about that inside our community and like, okay, and everyone inside the community can make profit and something like that, but that's not enough for future. Future is we need to extend.
Yep.
Somehow.
But I mean, that is the beauty. Cardano does keep growing by like leaps
Yes,
and bounds, and it grows quickly.
it
Changes.
grows really quickly. I have lots of these centralized exchanges, and I saw that token of hamster or Katizen, that's it, tap in Telegram, and the price for their tokens is higher than for other. That's like, why? I know why, because of mass adoption and marketing, because tons of people, like 10 millions of people, they like tap, 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 tap in their Telegram, and that makes huge marketing. But from time to time, I'm a little bit too concerned about the future.
Why?
Why am I concerned about the future? It's difficult to explain to commoners. I don't know. Commoners is a tolerant explanation of people.
I am well traveled. I'm not going to take offense over a word. But is it just that you see so many challenges that yet have to be overcome? Yeah.
Lots of challenges. Because right now we are building 2 projects in between Web 2 and Web 3. I mean, one with language and one for psychotherapists. And we started onboarding people. For example, Russian psychotherapists to Web3 platform, where they can get payment in ADA and other tokens. And that's too difficult. That's too difficult. They are afraid that we're scammers. That the first. The second, that they can't understand how to push 3 buttons. They don't want, for example, they don't want and don't know how to install the wallets, how to use it. And we started to make lots of educational materials. Just, okay, that's your phone. You should push here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And for example, if you have 10 people, just one will do something.
Yeah.
They're too afraid. And in this case, I am a little bit worried.
So you feel like adoption is growing slowly?
Very slowly, and as you told me before, we have lots of technical proposals and technical stuff, and inside our community we understand it, but people outside, they can't understand what's happened. Yeah. Why, for example, the government is so useful or non-useful inside the blockchain? What the difference between centralization and decentralization, and where really have decentralization, or that's just a centralization under not 1 but 3 persons?
Yeah.
They are really afraid of scam and to lose their money, and we know that if something happens with our money, after that you are scammers forever.
But I mean, it's not that different than when you do stock. When I buy stock, I buy it at a certain price because that's what it's currently valued at. But there's never a guarantee that it's going to stay at that price. Yeah. We all kind of hope it goes up, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it goes down and goes back up. It varies. With blockchain, I find some people I've spoken to that are not in the blockchain ecosystems, they immediately think blockchain equals crypto and therefore can't be trusted. And what I like to refer back to is one of the biggest and most successful blockchains is actually IBM. So yeah. If you go to like IBM's website, ibm.com/blockchain, they literally have a blockchain that they're using, and it can be used for like transportation and things like that. I think it's like tracking your shipments. But I mean, it's not always about crypto. The technology itself is sound and valid, and there's so many use cases for it. I feel like we're just really early, and that it's just going to keep growing. It seems like a natural thing.
Yeah, I understand that we're a little bit too early. People
Maybe.
maybe they are not ready, but uh, mm, I think that about 50% of people think that you can come to blockchain and become a billionaire in 3 months, but that's not like that.
I wish. I mean, that would
Okay,
be cool.
for everyone,
Right. Wouldn't that be great? It's not realistic, though.
yeah, that's like imagination picture.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we should understand that we should continue to build,
Yes.
to onboard and build, onboard and build, and at some
And
time
that's just
you
it.
can
If we
burn
build
out.
it, they'll come. We just have to, we have to set it up. We have to build it.
That's true. But how do you see Cardano in 5 years?
I don't know how to answer that. Like, that's such a big question. Um, and I feel like we're in such an interesting time of change, with governance just starting, with this whole budget proposal and this constitution and how all this could play out. What I do see is a lot of potential. I do see that, we could be on the cusp of something really big. And like I said, that's what we want to build towards from Blink Lab's perspective, is we are building for the future. We're starting to build the things that you don't yet know you're going to need, because we do see that potential. So, I mean, I don't think it'd be crazy to think somebody like Visa would want to start doing stuff with Cardano. But we want to have an environment set up for them, so when somebody is interested, you can be like, oh yeah, go talk to Blink Labs.
Yeah, I hope that in 5 years you will be like Tesla. I mean, the big company, really big company,
Yeah.
successful story. I really like, this good ending or something without ending, but with good, not like to go
I would
somewhere.
love to be at the point where you've made enough money to where you're completely financially independent. And I wouldn't stop. It's not my nature to just be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to sit on the beach. And it's like a great example. We went to Mexico this summer, and while we're on vacation, my husband and I are discussing how we could bring the blockchain to this island that we're on and how it would provide value. Because, like, we saw a genuine need for an easy way to exchange currency, and we found a lack of options there. So it's I could see people doing well and just continuing to grow this. That's what I'd like to do.
Oh, I really want to integrate blockchain in all spheres of our life. Because
Mhm.
when you are traveling all over the world, the first question, where to find money?
Yep.
21st
I
century.
wanted I wanted to hire somebody in another country to do a small job for me. Here we have services in the United States like a Task Rabbit or something like that, where you hire somebody to go do something. And the struggle I had in figuring out how I could pay this man, because like none of the ways that I would transfer money here were applicable there, not things that they use. And he had some service that I'd never heard of. It was not remotely easy at all. So yeah, I see a lot of potential, untapped
Oh, a
markets.
lot of potential to pay for everywhere in
Yep.
crypto, for hotels, for food, just the
So there is a bank in my, let's say it's like maybe 15 minutes from my house, and they have a Bitcoin machine in the bank.
That's cool. We
Yeah,
need such type
to
of
start.
machine for Cardano.
Yes.
But
Cardano machines everywhere.
yeah, but I saw the news that that scammers stole lots of money from these Bitcoin machines.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, I think several millions or more, or maybe billions.
Yeah.
Lots of money, really. Not for 1 century. for
Mhm.
1,000 centuries, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that Cardano will be fine in 5 years.
I think we just have to work towards the future,
Yes.
assuming that is,
Yes.
because, like I said, we've got to build it. If you build it, they will come.
Oh, yeah. All talented builders. And
We've
to
got a
create,
lot of talented builders in Cardano. We truly
yeah,
do.
and create an institution of reputation for builders, just to easy find whatever we want.
It would be helpful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very helpful. Okay. Thank you very much for this talk.
Thank
I
you.
really like
I've
it.
had-
I think we need to make part 2, maybe later,
Okay.
with more controversial questions like, okay, let's take a look at the series 2.
Yeah.
What they're talking about. That will be fine.
I would love that. We should definitely do it again.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anastasia. I hope to talk to you again soon.